The secret to good presentations is great visuals. Visuals can help make the difference between having an audience like this and having an audience like this. So stop with those boring slides and present your information like this. Welcome to Miss Smith's classroom. Her students are from all over the world and they're learning English. Unfortunately, they don't practice their English outside of class. Here are my tips for getting more English practice. First, try to volunteer or get a job in an English-speaking environment. From your initial training to your day-to-day interactions with others, you'll get a lot of English practice. Miss Smith's students took my advice and now they're all more confident and comfortable speaking English. Now it's your turn. Hit the like button for more. Now, I've fallen victim to those companies that sell animated tutorials. And it's true, they're beautiful, but they're really hard to use. They're not user-friendly, and in my opinion, they're a waste of money. You can get just as great of a result using Microsoft PowerPoint. So in this video, I'll share with you how to make a great presentation, an animated tutorial using Microsoft PowerPoint. To make this animated tutorial, you'll only need a few things: cartoon images, animations, and great sound design. So let's get started. You'll need some cartoon images for your background or setting and for the characters themselves. You can easily get them through PowerPoint by clicking on Insert Picture, Online Pictures. Then type in what you want, plus cartoon. Now you can easily get images and cartoon characters from PowerPoint, but I prefer to use Canva.com. Now Canva has both free and paid accounts. I happen to have a Pro, which is a paid account, because I make YouTube videos and I often use Canva for my thumbnails and other items for my content. However, you can easily do this tutorial using the free account if you're interested. With my Pro account, if I search under Elements for the type of character I want and click on a selection, Canva will also suggest some related images under Magic Recommendations. You won't get this option if you use the free account, but you can also find some characters under the free account. From here, you can get options and even variations on the character you've chosen. This helps when you want to create multiple scenes using the same character. If you do select a character through Canva, be sure to download your design as a PowerPoint so you can easily transfer your characters to your next presentation. You'll want to click on the three dots, and under Share, you'll see PowerPoint Presentation. Then download it. Now for your settings and backgrounds, you can of course search for them through PowerPoint itself. As we did before, you'll click on Insert Pictures, Online Pictures, type in the type of background you're interested in, and then you can insert that picture into your main document. However, I find PowerPoint's choices to be a bit limiting. So I often go back to Canva to look for backgrounds and settings as well. Now, while you can layer your settings and characters in Canva itself, I prefer to do this in PowerPoint because I can change the size of my characters a lot easier. I can animate them better. It's a lot more user-friendly. So you're going to want to download your presentation as we did before. Just a reminder, you'll want to click on the three dots, and under Share, you'll see PowerPoint Presentation. Then download it. Now that we have our characters and our settings, our backgrounds, we want to layer them to show where we want them on each slide. If you got your images through PowerPoint itself, you can layer and place them, but be sure to resize your characters so they make sense with the dimensions you have. Of course, characters in the foreground are going to appear bigger, and characters in the background will appear smaller. If you used Canva, you'll get a PowerPoint file. You'll just need to copy your characters onto the appropriate slides. Once again, resize images so that they make sense. Now we're at my favorite part, and this is where we can add animations to really help our characters come alive. You can have characters enter from the side, but you need to make sure to adjust the timing so it's not too fast. You can have characters pop up from the ground or even exit the screen. It's really up to you. For individual character animation, click on the image you want to animate, then on Animations, add animation, and then choose the entry or exit animation that fits your needs best. Make sure to adjust the timing so it's not too fast. We want it to flow smoothly, so I'm going to adjust this timing from 0.5 to 1 or maybe 2 so that it's much slower. Now let's set up the second slide. One thing I want to mention, since we have a main character, in this case a student, we can show her in a different environment. However, we want to create a natural flow from the first slide. So I recommend using the morph slide animation. This will create a really great effect and will make your presentation look like an animation, not a slide deck. So to do this, you're going to click on the similar character in the second setting. You'll click on Transitions and then on Morph. You'll get a preview of this animation. Of course, you can use other slide transitions, but I really find the morph to be the best, especially when you're doing cartoon images. Now it's time for your sound design. You can add music, sound effects, and you can record a voiceover to really capture a compelling story. Now for music and sound effects, I always go to Epidemic Sound. I really like their library of royalty-free music, and I find that the options in PowerPoint are really limiting. You can of course use sound effects in PowerPoint, but you're really not going to capture the full story, and it's not going to be as intriguing or exciting for your viewers. Now let's talk about your voiceover. You can record a voiceover directly in PowerPoint. To do a voiceover in PowerPoint, click Slideshow, Record Slideshow. You can either record from the current slide or record from the beginning. Since we're already at the beginning, they're the same for us. Now you have options to record with your video on, but since we're just doing a voiceover, I'm going to be sure to have the video option off. You also have options to use a pen on your slides, as well as show notes. However, for the purposes of this animation, we won't use those. If you're ready to begin, you're going to click on the top left of the screen where you see the red circle. You'll see a countdown, and you can begin recording as you transition through the slides. This is English class. Like and subscribe for more. If you make a mistake, you can clear a single slide or clear all slides. Once you're finished, click out of the screen. You'll see that the PowerPoint file has a little speaker icon on the different slides of the presentation. Now, if you want to turn this into a video for YouTube or for other purposes, you'll need to save it as a movie. To save it as a movie, go to File, Export, Create a Video. Now you have choices regarding the quality. For YouTube, you can try to make a 4K or 1080p video, depending on your storage capabilities. Then be sure to click on the box that says Use Recorded Timings and Narrations. This will use the recordings you used and just made, and then create video. Now you have a finished file that you can use as a standalone video, or you can embed it within a longer presentation. If you want to see how I did it, click or tap the screen now, or you can check out my other video on how to present graphs effectively.